timing is everything to you, my friend, isn't it?
Time is of essence.
Yeah.
All contracts are.
Yeah, it is. Timing is a really key component, isn't it?
Absolutely. Plus, my time's worth something to me. So I want to get the things I don't particularly enjoy but are necessary out of the way fast.
Like going to the gym. Eric Robison does join us. He's a managing broker with Keller Williams who's been in the real estate industry for almost 11 years now. So, Eric, in this timing, the market time that we have right now, a lot of sellers don't have to spend a lot of time on the market. The houses just kind of fly off. But there's still some really important pieces of the puzzle that need to be handled in order to, I suppose, make sure that market time is the least.
Absolutely. It's a conversation you have with all your sellers, and many of them right now are trying to say, well, I shouldn't have to really do anything. We'll just put a sign up and we'll sell. And you have to kind of bring them back in because you walk through the house and go, well, my job is to get you the best price I can, and we need to talk about staging because staging is the most important thing a seller should be doing in this market, even if it's multiple.
Why is that?
Well, think about it. You have one moment, you have one presentation to a buyer. That first moment is on the web because they're all looking at photo galleries. So you looking at a photo gallery of a house and you just see empty room, you go click, 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 click. You see a photo of a really beautiful room, lightly staged. It presents itself. It gives an idea to the buyer. It invites them to come and see it. And those photos, you want to invite that buyer to the house. You want to draw them in so they're going to want to go see it and walk through it.
It's true, that empty room. I always imagine, kind of the empty room in the 70s homes with a window that's like, 3/4 of the way up the wall.
Yeah.
And it's always the empty room with the brown carpet. And you're like, you're right. You just click, 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 click.
Right. And there's some homes like that out there still.
Yeah. The high windows. So what does staging then do, I guess, to that initial impression when you talk about the photo galleries?
Well, initial impression is to draw them in with the photos and to get them in the house. Next is once they're in the house, you want them walking through and start getting ideas. So if you've staged the house correctly, where it's just enough to present an idea to them, they can visualize how their furniture can start working in the house. It's inviting. They might even sit on the couch and talk a while with their realtor about it. They're not rushing. They're taking their time. Mm-hmm. So that's really, really important. And it's definitely kind of like an art form. You don't want to overdo it because if you get too much in a room, then they start to think it's tiny rooms, it's cluttered. You really want to present the idea that it's spacious. There's lots of room.
Mm-hmm. And when people go into this, I suppose it's one thing online, but then if they actually make it into the house, what does staging really do for a home?
Sells it.
Sells it?
It
Bottom
makes that,
line, huh?
Yeah. You've got so many homes in a price point, and if you have the best staged home, best photographed home, you're going to get the most traffic. Chances are you probably get the most offers. And that's what our job is to do for our sellers. And, not to say that you clear all your stuff out. It's a vacant house. We can also work with what you've got. You can also bring in a stager, and they can walk through your whole house. And don't argue. Don't take it personal. But they're going to just tell you, this all goes, this goes, this goes, and this is what you keep. And you just get it out. You put it in storage.
Do people take it personal? Have you
Some
seen
do.
people lose it?
I wouldn't say lose it, but they
That is my grandmother's couch.
Right. They say, well, I just don't get it. I really like this. I don't see why that matters. And I always, tell my sellers before the stager even arrives, they say, just listen and remember that what they're doing is making your home presentable to a variety of people coming through. We're not making the home presentable for you. We want to sell it to them. So it might involve taking down that beautiful portrait of grandma and getting rid of some of the furniture that just doesn't make sense because you've got 5 decades in one room. Mm-hmm. We want to make it look nice.
So really, and finished in some ways.
Mm-hmm.
And so I've also heard that when you stage a room or a home, people will tend to focus on kind of the beauty, the entire package, rather than, oh look, there's chip paint next to that light socket.
They won't be as critical, absolutely, because they're going to go through and start thinking, this home's been really taken care of. It looks solid. When they walk in a home where, I can tell you, dirty dishes, you can smell what cooked last night, beds aren't made, clothes are piled up in a corner, dirty carpets, you can smell that there's a cat. they get grossed out and they walk out there and they just say, they can't see past it. Those homes do not sell fast. And they sit.
Yeah. I mean, so really, it's more than just the staging with furniture. There's a cleanliness factor.
Yes.
Which makes sense.
Absolutely.
I suppose.
Staging is not just about arranging furniture. I mean, you got to look at what do your walls look like. If you haven't painted your walls in 20 years, we need fresh paint. You know, if you've got 15-year-old carpet with stains, we need to rip it out and put a new carpet. If you got wood floors, you know, let's talk about maybe how they'll look polished, because they may look like you've had them refinished, but you just polished them, they look great. Or it might be a refinish them. You put that little investment into your house, and sellers sometimes say, I don't want to dump money into it. That's the money you do want to dump into it, because you will get it in return by a quick sale and not sit on the market. You want to be the one, you want to be the shiny ticket out there in your price point. You don't want to be the dirty guy in the price point.
Does it create an emotion within potential buyers?
Absolutely. I mean, they fall in love really quick when they walk into a house and it looks, you know, even if you have a house that's not totally remodeled, like brand new kitchens and bathroom, they're still going to walk through it and go, well, it's so clean. It's been well taken care of. We can live with this. One day we'll remodel the bathroom, but we're really happy because this isn't our price point. We're going to buy it. But, you know, you have to think of things like, are you moldy around the bathtub? Then take out that caulk and recaulk it. You know? They see moldy caulking, they're going to think, oh, my God, there's probably moisture in the walls. This house is falling apart.
Right.
I mean, it doesn't take much to turn a buyer from this looks like a really well-cared house to this house looks dirty and they haven't taken care of it, and there's a lot of problems probably, and we're just not even interested. What
about like small fixture changes? You know, I'm always curious if you update some of the simple things around the house just to update it. But maybe it's as big as appliances. Maybe it's like doorknobs or, you know, things of that nature. Or can that start to, again, as you said, get multiple decades going on in one home? What's your take on?
Well, you got to ask yourself, where are their first impressions? That front door is a first impression. You got a lock that's kind of hard to open. It's kind of a rusty doorknob. It doesn't take much to put a new brand new doorknob and a new lock on it, and maybe a new coat of paint if it's painted, or stain it. And it's like it looks like a brand new door, opens really nicely.
Little WD-40 on the hinges.
Yeah, little things like that make a big difference. Drawers sticking, you know, or even, and you got to think deep clean, man, because they'll look in your kitchen cabinet and stuff, and they see stains and just, you know, a bunch of rotting whatever herbs and an oil that's spilled over the years, you know.
I do not envy you to have to go into houses, open drawers, and see rotting herbs.
Well, I'm not the one who's opening them. The buyer is.
You're like, you know better, right?
Well, I'm just like, you know, this is the house that you may buy. You need to explore everything you want.
I think your comment about the front door, I mean, you get that first impression, right? If you're going to do one thing perfect, I mean, you can't do the whole thing perfect.
No.
You have to get in a lot of ways to that, you know, okay, this is good enough. I mean, otherwise you'd remodel the entire house.
Well, yeah, and we're not talking about that. I'm not saying, oh, go out and remodel your entire kitchen. You might, considering the price point area that you're in, it might make sense. But, you know, a lot of this you can do for under $5,000. Mm-hmm. And I mean, I'm saying you got a lot done in that. You probably got wood floors, new carpet, painted, staged. You're ready to go. Right.
But that front door, I mean, that first impression, the ability to get somebody to just go, oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's called street appeal.
Yeah.
You know, and it's all, and it even goes with your yard. You know, you want that front yard to look inviting. Everything you want inviting to that buyer.
Even outdoor staging in some ways.
Absolutely. You know, if you got a nice patio area, think about cleaning it up so it looks like it's all ready for a great barbecue.
Put the steaks on the grill.
Well, not to that extreme.
Oh.
They might rot, and then it smells. Not a good idea.
It's a slippery slope.
See, that's where you went too far.
I did. I'd be, you know, you barbecue for them, right? Welcome.
Yeah. I don't think I would do
that. Look how much fun we're having.
You don't want to be there when they're walking through your house.
Okay, so there's the staging, and then there's not hiring actors to live their lives within the home.
But I did have a fun moment of there used to be realtor out there who would list and use mannequins in the house.
Really?
Absolutely. It was quite funny.
Did it work?
Well,
I mean, nobody's doing it anymore.
All I remember all the conversation is, oh, they look like they're going to Mardi Gras. It was a fun conversation among all the realtors.
Sure.
And yeah, the buyers always thought it was pretty funny when they walked through the house. They didn't take the house seriously, but Must have been working. They did it.
It's kind of that is taking staging to a whole nother level.
Yeah, I thought so.
Yeah, I'd be curious to know, like, if it's raining, and you have that outdoor area, could you at least put the mannequins outside,
With an umbrella?
just getting rained on, and really liven it up out there.